Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger.
Yo, what is up, Sexy Beast? Crazy Rabbit here, and today we're going to be doing Richtofen's storyline, and sorry this wasn't out yesterday. Sony Vegas has really been killing me, but that's besides the point. So today we're just going to be pretty much talking about Richtofen's background, I'll read you guys his bio, his character relationships, and we're pretty much going to talk about his overall story, like what he wants to accomplish through all these Easter eggs and stuff, because I can't really show how he acquired himself because he's himself, you know. Can't really do what I did exactly for the other people. I can't really show any radios either because I have to show a lot of radios and I don't have the time. So I'm pretty much just going to give you guys a brief overview and then go into detail on what his exact plan was. So let's get the shit started. Beware the dock, a message that was scrawled across the walls of every town under Axis control. Starvation may cripple you, dysentery may wreck you, gunfire may rip the flesh from your bones, but beware the dock. This is Dr. Richtofen, known affectionately as the Butcher to his victims as they scream in agony moments before he snuffs their lights out. All through his career, Richtofen has been the forefront of torture and information extraction research. Richtofen is an incurable sociopath and sees no moral distinction between natural death and murder. The victim is a victim, regardless of how their demise manifests itself. Dr. Richtofen has a collection of stuffed animals, most of them posed in positions of terror at their instant of death. Alright, so let's first get a little background information on Richtofen. He was a part of the Illuminati sent in to infiltrate the Nazis. At this point in time, the Nazis were very high in powerful rankings, so it doesn't really surprise me that the Illuminati does want somebody on the inside. And Richtofen was a major general, so that means he was pretty high ranked up in the chain of command. And at one point in time, Richtofen has met Adolf Hitler in his life. Doesn't really specify when or do we know how, he just has. Richtofen was also the creator of the Wunderwaffe DG2, and the quantum entanglement device, or the QED, and also the monkey bomb, which Takeo is very fond of. Richtofen does have some family. He does have a mother and a sister that he mentions briefly in Ascension. If you are going around clicking on the I don't know how to say it, whatever the doll is, he does actually mention his mother and his sister. Now, Richtofen does actually experiment on the other three gang at Der Riese, and he also does it at the Siberian base, aka Call of the Dead. No one's exactly sure what order or how he even got there from there to there, but we just know that he has at one point experimented on them at the Siberian base, or else we wouldn't have the radios from Call of the Dead. Alright, so let's get into Richtofen's character relationships. So first we're going to start off with World at War and Black Ops 2. He absolutely despises Dempsey. He hates everything American. He does not like Dempsey whatsoever, and Dempsey shows the same in return. Now Nikolai doesn't really care for Richtofen, but Richtofen absolutely loves Nikolai, probably because he's the last one to regain his memory, so he really won't remember everything Richtofen has done to him, aka experiments and everything else. And Takeo, he doesn't really even know Takeo exists. I think he doesn't really care for Takeo. He doesn't care if he lives or dies. I don't think anybody really does. Takeo is kind of the character that no one likes because he's just so boring. He doesn't really do anything. And it's just really odd. I hate all his quotes. Takeo is my least favorite character. But now let's hop into Black Ops 2. And during transit, you can actually hear Richtofen say quotes about him missing Nikolai and Dempsey, mentioning the American and mentioning Vodka. So that pretty much tells us that he misses those two guys, which may hint to that they're dead, or may hint to that they're teleported somewhere else. No one knows. I'll get into that maybe in the next episode when I talk about Samantha, but let's get back to Richtofen. So during transit, you can hear him mention Dempsey and Nikolai, but he does not mention Takeo, which is probably implying to me that he doesn't really care for Takeo. No one does. Again, like I was saying before in Black Ops. And he actually can hear him say that the group that we are playing as now is not as good. He actually does mock them for not being as good as the group he is used to playing with. So that's Richtofen's character relationships. Okay, so it's pretty much getting to Richtofen's little known Easter egg, aka the zombie storyline. So this will probably be a brief overview of the zombie storyline. I'm not going to go in depth. I'll save that for a different video or videos because they'll probably be really long. So let's get the shit started. So Richtofen was sent in by the Illuminati to infiltrate Group 935, aka a sub-party of the Nazis, and he was put under Maxis's control. Richtofen did not like this, and under Maxis he did eventually create the Wunderwaffe DG2, which he asked Maxis to mass produce. Maxis said of course he would, but he never did because he knew that would be the end of the human race. And Richtofen secretly did not like Maxis. He thought he would steal the Wunderwaffe DG2 designs and use them for himself to gain popularity. So Richtofen already has a struggle with Maxis. He absolutely hates him. So Richtofen eventually goes off and works on teleportation. He does eventually teleport a walnut. Maxis says this isn't really a big deal. Come back to me when you have something else. And he pretty much tells Richtofen to stop using teleportation. Richtofen does the exact opposite and tries to teleport himself, which teleports himself to the moon, and where he's at the pyramid. As soon as he touches the pyramid, he gets teleported to Shangri-La. He does what he does at Shangri-La, get the meteor, get the new wonder weapon, and stuff like that. So as soon as he gets back to Der Riese or whatever he was doing his teleportation device is at, he does eventually tell his worker that we found something on the moon. We need to start getting people up there ASAP. So he starts teleporting people to the moon and getting his own little base there without Maxis knowing. Maxis has no idea this is going on. So Richtofen gets his own little party on moon to discover more about the pyramid, and Richtofen does go back to Dorit so that way he can keep an eye on Maxis, make sure he doesn't get too far ahead. So Richtofen does sabotage Maxis' teleporters so that way they don't work. So Richtofen does know how to teleport, but Maxis does not. So Richtofen does eventually get word from the Illuminati that Maxis needs to die, and plus Richtofen wanting to kill Maxis has already had that in his mind. So Richtofen does eventually trap them in a teleporter with Fluffy, aka Hellhound, or Samantha's dog, and eventually teleports them to the moon, where Samantha runs into the pyramid, and they try to get Maxis to get Samantha out, but he ends up telling Samantha to kill everyone, and they shoot Maxis. Now at this point, they telegraph Richtofen, tell him what's happened, and Richtofen's like, shit, I gotta get him out, I gotta get her out. And after the zombies start attacking, Richtofen eventually figures out that the pyramid has the power to control all the zombies, and that Richtofen wants this. So he takes the other three, Nikolai, Dempsey, and Takio, the three pretty much, these guys are like, people say they're immune to 115, but they're not really immune to 115, they're like the super soldiers that they've been wanting to create. And he takes these three, and he knows that these three don't really remember anything, and he can probably manipulate them into getting what he wants. So that's when he goes from each map to map, from Dorit to Kino, to Ascension, to Call of the Dead, to Shangri-La, to Moon, and eventually to Transit. And once he is in control of the zombies, he wants to take over the world. And at this point, he can't really control, we're at Transit at this point, and he can't really control all the zombies in special locations. That's when he starts telling you to activate Tower, so that way his power can get more stronger. And Maxis is actually, I believe he's in the ether. He's either in the ether or he's in the electronics, because I'm not really 100% sure. If he's in the ether, then Richtofen could probably get him from there. I'm not really 100% sure on that. So Richtofen does try to get you to go against Maxis, and only people, I'm not really who can hear who can hear Richtofen. I'm guessing only people that have been exposed to 115 can hear Richtofen. I'm not really 100% sure on that, because you can hear people on radio saying that you can hear Richtofen, and other people can hear Maxis through the electronics. So no one exactly knows what Richtofen's big plan is. That's the answer we will find out eventually, or no one knows what Maxis' big plans are, because again, we will find out eventually in future DLC maps. So I'm very curious to see what Samantha and the gang are still doing. Maybe they're on Moon, maybe they died, maybe they got teleported somewhere else. I'm not sure. I will discuss that more in a different video. So if you guys will see Samantha, which will probably be a big long video, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Peace.